snacks.
So with Marvel's Doctor Strange coming to the big screen in less than a month, we thought we'd take a moment to give those unfamiliar with the mystic arts within the MCU a bit of a little crash course in just who Doctor Strange is and why he's important. Dr. Stephen Strange, gotta love that double alliteration, is a medical surgeon with amazing talent and an ego to match. He suffers extensive nerve damage to both of his hands in a car accident, preventing him from being able to continue his practice. After exhausting his entire fortune, all of his medical options, legitimate and not, and his insurance, he's forced to seek the assistance of the rumored Ancient One. He scrounges up enough money to get to Tibet, finds the Ancient One, and learns that his treatment will be quite unorthodox. Long story short, after starting with much disbelief, he begins to learn the mystic arts, which includes martial arts, master them, and in typical but oh so good story fashion, becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. So, here's what's important about Doctor Strange and how it applies to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right now, if you've been paying attention to what's going on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they've introduced Ghost Rider, which for them is something different. It's not something they've dealt with. A lot of people may feel like, well, there's Thor, and Thor comes from Asgard, they use magic, but they don't. Like you heard Thor say, for them, what we call magic, to them is science. It's something scientific. And if you look at what S.H.I.E.L.D's been able to do with the technology that they get from Asgard or from those realms, what they do on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in terms of being able to read that information and, you know, get stuff out of it, it is scientific. What Stephen Strange does, what Doctor Strange does, is not. It's magic. It's the mystic arts. It is traveling to other dimensions and fighting beings that use magic. It's beams and force fields, and it is a different beast. And having Ghost Rider introduced into the MCU via Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of the first foray for this entire universe into that art form. And Stephen Strange certainly was at one point a member of the Avengers. And so it makes sense that they would pull him into this universe, but it also makes sense that there's an entire world that has not been explored in the MCU because they haven't touched anything on that side of things, the mystic side of things, and this is a great way to introduce it. So what I'd recommend doing if you're kind of on the fence about Doctor Strange, which you shouldn't be, Cumberbatch, I mean, it's right. But there's a really good Marvel animated film. It's just Doctor Strange. His story, and he as a character, he's very similar in terms of like talent and his ego to Tony Stark. He's a lot like him. But just instead of being all about the robotics and he's about the magic. And so he's a great martial artist, and he is one of the best sorcerers in the Marvel Universe. He's not the best sorcerer in the Marvel Universe, but that is part of why this is a good way to go, because as they begin to introduce other things and go off into space and do the whole Guardians thing, it's going to be important for somebody like him to be there and other characters that they might be able to introduce. So I would recommend watching the Doctor Strange animated film. You can get your hands on it online for sure. It's definitely on Amazon, but I'd recommend watching it. It's actually really good. A lot of the Marvel animated movies are not, I mean, they're not up to DC, but they're really good. So I'd recommend doing that so you can kind of catch up, and that'll give you a really good idea of kind of like what this movie is going to be with a little bit less Inception. If you guys have any other questions about Doctor Strange or want to know a little more information about him, I certainly would recommend, you can get the information from Marvel's website, but certainly hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think about this entrance into the MCU. Let me know what you think the movie is going to be like, or if you think it's going to be good at all. And if you think it's going to be bad, then let's argue about it, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty good. They haven't missed yet. I don't think they're going to miss with this one. With that, I'm out. Toodles and loos.
Loading snacks.